The qualifying round of the Stanley Cup playoffs is finally over, and as a Leafs fan, I can assure you I was fully expecting to see them lose in Game 5, and I can't even say I'm mad, I'm just disappointed. But this video isn't about the Leafs, it's about teams that actually made the playoffs. This is my Stanley Cup bracket. In the West, I'll start with Vegas and Chicago. Both Vegas and Chicago are great teams that have proved themselves in the past week. Vegas solidifying themselves as the number 1 seed in the West, and Chicago beating Connor McDavid's 5th seed Oilers in the qualifying round. Although Chicago has proved themselves to be taken seriously, I don't see them winning against Vegas in a best-of-7 series. I do think Chicago will be able to win one game, but I think Vegas will ultimately overtake Chicago in 5. They just have so much depth in their lineup, and I can't see them falling this early on. The Avalanche have proved to be a skilled team that only got better in the offseason when acquiring 2 key forwards being Kadri and Donskoy. The Coyotes also prove that they have a lot to give with a lot of points scored from many players against the Nashville Predators in the qualifying round. Because the Coyotes finally broke their 8-year playoff drought from 2012, it will definitely be interesting to see what they will be capable of. At first, I thought the Avalanche would take the series in 5 games, but the more I've looked into them, the Coyotes have been looking really solid, and I think they'll have a real chance to compete. I still think the Avalanche take the series, but this time in 6 games. The Dallas Stars versus the Calgary Flames will be the series that would be the tightest contested in the West. Both teams have had streaks of fire and cool this season, so it really is a toss-up. The only real basis I can make a prediction off of is the round robin and play-in series, and Calgary looked tough playing good hockey and the Stars came out flat. Yeah, they were taking on the best the Western Conference has to offer, but they were honestly pretty underwhelming to watch. But because of how tight I think the series is going to be, I think Calgary does end up winning, and I think they will take care of the Stars in 6 games. If the Stars can prove themselves and bounce back from their poor performance in the round robin, I definitely think we can see a 7-game series between these two. And if I were to recommend a series in the West, it would definitely have to be this one, just based off of the parity between these teams. For the final series in the West, the Blues take on the Canucks, and I think a lot of other people can agree that we probably won't see St. Louis making it to the second round this year. I don't even think this can be considered a hot take due to their terrible performance in the round robin. They looked disconnected from each other, and it showed with them blowing every single game they played. Vancouver, on the other hand, looks like a hockey team. They've been great to watch after their first game against Minnesota, and they look like they all care for each other by how they play. I think the Canucks beat the defending champions in 6 games, but that's being generous to the Blues. If they play like they did in the round robin, the Canucks could easily beat them in 5 or sweep them, and it wouldn't be that surprising. The Eastern Conference matchups to me are looking to be a bit more interesting than the Western Conference. There's a lot of rematches from last year's playoffs in the East. One series that isn't a rematch though from last year is the Flyers versus the Canadiens. The last time these two teams were contenders was 10 years ago when they faced each other in the conference finals, being the 7th and 8th seeds in the East. This year, Philly has the upper hand on the Canadiens, and judging on how good they've been in the round robin, I can't not pick the Flyers to win. I see the Flyers sweeping the Habs in convincing fashion. The Lightning and the Blue Jackets are expected to have a heated series based off of last year's outcome, but I think things will end differently this year. Both teams have looked good since returning to play, and I think this will be some of the best hockey we'll see in the first round. The Lightning are missing Stamkos and Hedman, which won't make things easy for them, but they have other star players that can fill their roles, like Braden Point and Ryan McDonough. I don't think the Blue Jackets will get pummeled, but I don't think they'll be able to overthrow the Lightning again this year. But this league is so unpredictable, so who knows. The Caps and the Isles are both great teams that will be interesting to watch. Ever since New York got Barry Trotz, their franchise has turned around for the better. With the Capitals only being 2 years removed from their first Stanley Cup, most of their championship core is still intact, and they definitely have the capability to make another deep run. Even though the Islanders have tons of great players, one of which being Jean-Gabriel Pageau, who I really like, I can't see them overtaking the Capitals, so I say Capitals in 7 because I think it will be an even battle until the end. The Bruins are only 1 year out from their conference final sweep of the Hurricanes from 2019, but I don't think they'll play the way they did in the series last year. Similar to the Blues, they dropped all of their round-robin games and they haven't looked remotely close to their elite status before the league paused. Because of Carolina's rising stars and momentum coming into the series, it would be dumb to bet against them. I think if Carolina wins the series though, it will go to Game 7 since you can almost never count the Bruins out and they always have something up their sleeves. I'll keep the rest of the round short since we don't know what we'll see yet. If we see these outcomes, I think Vegas will beat the Flames in 6 games, advancing the Golden Knights to the Western Conference Finals against the Avalanche, who beat the Canucks in 5 games in the second round. This second round between the Avalanche and the Canucks would be a battle between Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar and would be competitive hockey. In the East, the Flyers and the Capitals would advance to the Eastern Conference Finals after beating the Hurricanes in 6 games and the Lightning in 7 games. I think the Avalanche beat the Golden Knights in a hard-fought 7-game series, and I think the Flyers will meet the Avalanche in the finals as well after beating the Capitals in 6 games. In the finals, I think the Flyers will play in their first 7-game series, but end up losing to the Avalanche. I've been betting on Colorado to win it all since last September, and over a whole year later, there will be a good chance we could see this happen. This would be a great victory to add to Joe Sakic's resume, especially after they finished in dead last only 3 years ago and looked like they weren't going to accomplish anything anytime soon. It would also be nice to see Nathan MacKinnon lift his first of hopefully many cups, as he's become a solidified league all-star over the last couple of seasons. Good luck to everyone still left. I will enjoy the playoffs from the sidelines.